Welcome back guys again for another video. Today we're going to be discussing the top 5 best units in Anime Vanguards update 7.5. This is probably going to be the only video where I think every single unit is actually you must be getting. By the way guys, before we start this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Our goal is to eventually get to 100k subscriber, and if you subscribe before we get to 100k, you're going to be part of the OG sub of AB Plays, the OG community. So subscribe and don't forget to join our Discord as well. Alright, so first and foremost, like I've said in the beginning, every single unit in this update is almost worth getting. Like there's 7 units in this update. You can see right here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And every single last one of them is worth getting. And the 2 worst ones, in my opinion, are still hella overpowered. So yeah. Alright, let's get this one started. And I'm gonna start with number 5, which in my opinion is going to be Weatherman or Newsman Forecast. Now Newsman Forecast he's really good because Newsman has this passive that basically allows him to slow down all non-boss enemies by 50% for 30 seconds, which makes him the best slow for non-boss enemies. However, that is a weakness in it of itself. Non-boss enemies are not really the ones that you need to worry about to slow. The ones that you really need to slow are the enemies that are hella high HP, which are the bosses most of the time. They're the ones that are gonna be ending your match. So you really want to be able to get a slow for those bosses. So even though he's hella good, that weakness, in my opinion, is substantial enough for me to think he deserves to be at the number 5 spot. You know. Also, most of the units in this update are full AoE. He is not full AoE, so that is kind of a big detriment to him because the other units are doing like 100k DPS while being full AoE. So him, who only stuns non-bosses and is not full AoE, that's kind of a bit of a downside to him, but he's still hella good and is still extremely powerful. Now the next one, sitting at number 4, is going to be Merliona. Now Merliona is a powerful unit as well, but the problem now with Merliona is again, she's competing with some of the most powerful units Anime Vanguard has ever seen, right? So those other units that I'm talking about are just hella powerful as well. So even though Merliona, if she was in update 7, would probably be the number 1 unit. Merliona, if she was in update 6, would probably be the number 1 or number 2 unit because of how overpowered she is, but she's not. She's in update 7.5. So Merliona has a full AoE, and he has this passive ability. She has this ability as well that if you activate that ability, she will basically increase her damage, but her range will decrease. And again, full AoE. So full AoE burn, high damage. It's really good. Merliona is powerful, high DPS, has the burn, has the full AoE. So yeah, just hella broken. Merliona is really good, so that's why she's at number 4. But at number 3, we got Quetzalcoatl, who in my opinion is just a lot better than Merliona, or probably better than Merliona by a good amount. Some people might say Merliona is better than Quetzalcoatl, but in my opinion, Quetzalcoatl is better than Merliona, and this is mainly because Merliona's ability, her passive when evolved, doesn't really require you to basically micromanage him. Merliona's ability to reach his full DPS has no downsides, where Merliona, in order to reach her full capability in terms of DPS, you have to sacrifice range. Quetzalcoatl does not need to sacrifice anything, right? Actually, she does. I don't know if this person is a she. I think she is a she. But yeah, she does sacrifice some of her AoE because her passive, when evolved, is that her attacks will change from attack 2, attack 3, and you'll see right here, it will change from attack 2 and attack 3, and then she will go from full AoE to circle, but that will increase her damage by a lot. And I've seen some cases of her doing 100,000 plus DPS at max out with Monarch. And also you have to add his burn here, her burn, man, I keep saying the burn of this unit, which is 30% of this unit's damage over 5 seconds. And she also buffs all fire allies in range by 20%. So she will buff Esenor by like 20%, which is incredibly good. And if you use her with all the fire units in this update, she will buff all of them by 20%, which is incredibly good. That's why she's at number 3. Alright, so the next unit is going to be Jin Mori, and this might actually be controversial because Jin Mori has like 3 times the DPS of Esenor. Yeah, I just said it. Esenor is the Vanguard unit in this update, but Jin Mori has like 3 times his DPS. But okay, the thing with Jin Mori is a lot of people are actually overestimating Jin Mori by a lot. And let me explain why. Right, when I showcased Jin Mori, I forgot to mention that his early damage is actually really bad. Right, the early damage of the other units in this update, like Quetzalcoatl and whatnot, is incredibly high. You know, the early damage of the units in this update is just incredibly high, and they do like 100k at max. All right, Jin Mori at max upgrade does 40,000 with Monarch. So that's not including his clones yet. Now, when he spawns in his clones, his damage will increase, but his clones will also take a bunch of cash to upgrade. So it really isn't like as powerful as people are saying. Not to mention, he has a lot of limitations and weaknesses, like he's not immune to stun. You know, he can't cleanse himself. So if you're gonna use him, you're gonna have to bring a cleanse unit to cleanse him, or else you're kind of cooked, because if, for example, an energy drain enemy comes in, he's gonna have a hard time dealing with that. Or when an enemy with, you know, stun comes in, he's gonna have a hard time dealing with that as well. But Jin Mori is the highest DPS in this game by far, but that's pretty much all he does. You know, high damage, high DPS. Not really much else with Jin Mori, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it is kind of something worth noting, because a lot of people are glazing Jin Mori to be so good. I myself included glaze Jin Mori because he is good, but there are weaknesses to him. You know, he does have a weakness, and he's not as perfect, in my opinion. He's not as complete as the number 1 unit, which is obviously going to be Esenor. And the reason why Esenor is going to be at the number 1 is because Esenor is just more complete as a unit. Now, he has his weaknesses as well, but he has less of those weaknesses if you compare him to Jin Mori. And he has more unique things that he does compared to Jin Mori as well. So Esenor, if you use him alone, which is probably what you're going to be using him for, he's going to be free to place, and he's going to auto-upgrade himself, meaning that Esenor can be used to brainlessly grind the entire game of Anime Vanguards. You can probably use Esenor to macro every single thing this game has. You can probably use Esenor to macro portals, probably use Esenor to macro a lot of those stuff. He's not an unknown unit, but you can probably use him in portals regardless, because he's hella overpowered. And if you can't use him in portals, you can probably use him in bounties to, you know, macro or just clear the entirety of bounties, because he's hella powerful. He isn't unknown, which is why it is again a weakness, but you can place him down at wave 0 and just make him play the game. Literally, it's really good, and that is his purpose. You know, and he also has a revive animation. So let's say, for example, you have Esenor and you lose, Esenor is going to TP to the back and, you know, kill the enemies at the back. And there's a revive animation to that. It's really, really powerful and really, really broken. So yeah, Esenor is good, but in my opinion, Jin Mori is crazy powerful as well. And they really are interchangeable. It's just what you want more, right? If you want pure DPS, Jin Mori is going to be the best unit in this game by a long shot. But if you want uniqueness, and if you want flexibility and more stuff other than just damage, then it's going to be Esenor as well in this update. So that's pretty much it, actually. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and peace out, everybody. Peace out. Peace out.